Hello again, it's me, Adam Yobst of A-Team Realty LLC, and I'm here once again to share with you the latest news and information for the DC Metro real estate market. Now, I apologize for getting this information to you a little bit late this month. I have been preoccupied somewhat with the birth of my daughter. Julie was born in the 5th of February, and I've been a little preoccupied and maybe not getting as much sleep as I have been in months prior, so bear with me. But I do have some exciting news to report to you this month. Alright, so let's dive right in and talk about the absorption rate. The absorption rate, as you may remember, is the measurement of total inventory compared to what's gone under contract in the past 30 days. So for the month of January 2010, we had an absorption rate of 17.9%, roughly 18%, indicating that it's still a strong buyer's market. However, that's an uptick from the month prior in December 2009, where we were about 15%. The reason that this is significant is over the past 2 years here, 2008, 2009, the absorption rate in January of those years was about 11%, which is very low. That means roughly one out of every 10 properties goes under contract every 30 days. So that's very low. That is a very, very strong buyer's market. Whereas this month we're at 18%, or this year rather. So in January 2010, we're a good, 7 percentage points above where we were for the past 2 years on average, indicating that we have gotten through the worst of the real estate market. I believe that's behind us at this point, and in 2010 we're going to see a strengthening real estate market based on what I'm seeing here. Days on market. Last month in January 2010, it took about 83 days to sell a property in today's real estate market. Last month, the month before that rather, in December 2009, it also took 83 days. So it takes about 3 months, just under, to sell a property in today's real estate market. Now, the one thing I want to note here is that if you compare 2010 January's numbers to January 2008, 2009 January, you'll see that it takes significantly less time to sell a property starting this year than it had in the last 2 years. Now that's significant because I do feel that the worst is behind us and we are moving towards a balanced real estate market moving forward. So just know that it takes about 3 months to sell a property in today's real estate market, as long as it's priced well and shows right. The number of sales decreased last month from about 586 in December 2009 to 442 here in January 2010. That's a normal seasonal trend. And again, if we compare 2010's numbers to 2008, 2009, you'll see that we've had quite a few more sales this month, or in January 2010, compared to January 2008 and 2009 at this same time. So again, I do think that we're at a much stronger starting point starting 2010, and as a result, we're going to see an increase in property values here in 2010 compared to the last 2 years. All right, now let's talk about the all-important sales price. Last month in January 2010, we experienced a very sharp decrease in the average sale price for our area. I suspect that may be caused by that first-time homebuyer tax credit that was originally scheduled to expire the end of November 2009. So we did see an increase in sales activity, which typically results in a higher average sale price for the region, and that's what we saw the month after the expiration date in December. So the sales prices shot up from November to December in our area, and now I believe that they've gone back down to their normal levels here in January 2010. So we're starting at about the same average sale price in 2010 as we did January 2009. However, this year is going to be different. I expect the trend to be similar, but 2010 prices are going to be slightly higher than 2009 prices. In 2009, average home prices increased from February to about June or July pretty consistently, steadily, a slight increase every month. And I expect that we're going to see those same trends this year in 2010. The one thing this year that may cause a slight hiccup in that trend of average home price increases may be the expiration of the first-time home buyer tax credit that is currently scheduled to expire the end of April. Now that's going to be an interesting time. Last year, as I reported, we did see an increase in sales activity at the end of the year when that original tax credit was supposed to expire. So we'll see if we see a similar trend this year with a spike of increased activity here right around April timeframe. If that in fact is not renewed and does expire in April, that'll be an interesting time because typically real estate activity increases over the spring and into the summer. And we'll see if that trend continues without the assistance of the home buyer tax credit if that were to expire. I'll keep a close eye on it and report to you what I'm seeing on that. Okay, and with that, I'm done with this year's first market report from A-Team Home Sales. To my buyers out there, what I recommend you do is to meet with a loan officer. If you're considering purchasing a property this year, I would meet with a loan officer right away. If you can take advantage of the first-time home buyer tax credit that is set to expire by the end of April, it might be a good opportunity for you to take advantage of that this first quarter of the year as opposed to waiting until later where you wouldn't benefit from that tax credit. I would go ahead and reach out to a loan officer and start having those discussions now. It doesn't cost you any money to talk to them. And although there are some additional requirements now with the FHA loans in particular, there are still a lot of good opportunities out there. Interest rates are low, and it's a strong buyer's market. To my seller clients out there, good news. Times are going to be getting better for us. 2008, 2009 were a struggle. If you had to sell in those years, it was very difficult to do so. There was a lot of competing properties out there. Many of them were bank-owned and short sale properties that had lower price points. And so it was very challenging for us to sell those properties for an acceptable net gain to the sellers that I did work with over those 2 years. However, prices will increase this year. I'm expecting buyer demand to pick up, inventory to burn off, and as a result, we're going to be in a balanced real estate market as early as the summer of 2010. Hang in there. There's good things coming. If you're considering putting your house on the market, you may want to consider increasing your time frame so that you can take advantage of the first-time homebuyer tax credit that's set to expire at the end of April. Last year, we did see an increase in the number of sales and sale prices as a result of that initiative. So if you're considering selling this year, you may want to consider putting your house on the market the first quarter of this year as opposed to waiting until the summer or the fall to take advantage of that increased activity. Renters out there, it's still a good time to rent too. There's a lot of properties that are on the market or the sellers had tried to sell the property in 2008, 2009, and they're struggling. They were unable to sell it, so they've rented it. A lot of those rental agreements are for about a year, and if that tenant doesn't renew, then those properties are going to be becoming available again right now in the spring, in the summer. So it might be a good opportunity for you to get out there and take a look at your other options if you're currently renting. To my landlords out there, the rental rates have decreased that I've seen in our area as a result of the excess inventory. There's a lot of folks trying to sell properties and or rent them out, and as a result, there's a lot of competing rental properties out there. Hang in there. I believe property values will increase, and as a result, there are going to be a lot more people interested in buying properties. In the long term, that's going to help us because there's going to be a lot less competing rentals on the market. You have a lot of sellers right now, or a lot of homeowners that are renting their properties out, but it's not their first choice. They prefer to sell. So once that inventory burns off and they are in fact able to sell it for a price that makes sense for them, then that's going to be less rental competition here in the upcoming year. All right, and with that, I'm out of here. Thanks again for your time, and I'll report again next month.